All right, so proof by contradiction. A student from South Putnam says, duh, I thought obtuse triangles had 3 obtuse angles. You tell them calmly, no, they can only have 1 obtuse angle. Oh, why? Take just a few moments here, write down your notes. Why can a triangle only have 1 obtuse angle? Okay? Jot down some notes there, your thoughts for it. What do you explain to them? And again, I just make fun of all the county schools. I've got friends at South Putnam. We go to Greencastle, so we make fun of them in good fun. Okay, so why can't a triangle have more than 1 obtuse angle? Yes. 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 Okay. So what she just did, and you didn't realize, and she's really specific to say it, is she assumed, okay, fine, if you do have 2 angles that are more than 180, then what happens, right? So the first thing in doing a proof by contradiction is assume the opposite of what you are trying to prove. Always. Assume the opposite. Then you're going to keep doing logical steps until you find something impossible. In this case, what's impossible? Well, and why is it impossible? Exceeds 180. Okay. You're going to say, you're going to state what's impossible. It's impossible because, and then we're just going to go back and restate what we're trying to prove. Okay? All right. So assume the opposite of what you're trying to prove. Okay. So what's the opposite of having only 1 obtuse angle? Having 2, or it could be 2 or 3, right? So we're going to say assume triangle ABC has 2 obtuse angles. Now let's call them A and B. Angle A and angle B. Now, I'm not going to prove 3 because, well, 3 is going to be the same sort of thing, okay? That means angle A is greater than 90 and angle B is greater than 90. Logical steps until you find something impossible. So angle A plus angle B plus angle C, that's going to be more than 90 plus something else, right? Plus how many degrees C is. Let's get more than 90 plus 90. So angle A plus angle B plus angle C is greater than 180 degrees. This is impossible because, what do we know about triangles? Yes, this is impossible because triangles have 180 degrees for the angles. So our assumption must be false. Everything up here was correct, right? If we have two obtuse angles and they're both bigger than 90, that's a true statement. If they're both bigger than 90 and we add them together, plus angle C, that means they add it all up, got to be more than 180, right? If they're more than 180, that's impossible. Since all the steps are correct, that means our assumption had to be false. False. All the other steps are legal. We come to an impossible conclusion. That means our assumption was false. So our assumption must be false. Therefore, what are we trying to prove? Can't have two obtuse angles, or we're trying to prove can only have one obtuse angle, right? Therefore, a triangle has only one obtuse angle. I'm going to change that to can have only one obtuse angle. Okay? Those are the steps for proof by contradiction. Assume the opposite. Keep going along. You find something impossible. State what's impossible. You need to state, so our assumption must be false. Therefore, a triangle can have only one obtuse angle. Restate what you're trying to prove. All right? Those are the steps. You probably do this a lot, actually, okay? You probably do this a lot. Like someone says, well, this is true, and you're like, no, wait, that can't possibly be true because that would mean this, and 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 that would mean this. And that's not true, so therefore, you have to be lying. Right? Did y'all hear about Walmart getting robbed this summer? June 11th, Walmart was robbed. They thought I did it. Curious Georges were stolen. They came to see me. So, there's only one problem. Walmart was robbed at midnight. I was in Minneapolis, Minnesota at 8 p.m. their time. Now, I don't have an alibi for midnight. I saw my friends at 8 p.m. and then drove home. It's a long drive, okay? And the police officer says, well, you claim it's a long drive. Minneapolis is a long drive, okay? They think I did it. Can we prove Mr. Kuhne's innocent? Okay. So let's start out. What's the first thing we're going to do? We're going to do a proof by contradiction here. Assume the opposite. If we're trying to prove Mr. Kuhne's innocent, we're going to assume I'm guilty. Assume Mr. Kuhne robbed Walmart. Assume Mr. Kuhne is guilty and robbed Walmart. Okay, fine. If I robbed Walmart, then what would have happened? How could I have robbed Walmart at midnight? Yeah? Okay. So my friends saw me at 8 p.m. their time. Okay. I drove home. I didn't go to like some airport because you know there'd be security cameras at the airport, right? And you say, oh, you just flew home. No, not any security cameras. No flights. I don't have any flights booked. So in order to do it, I had to be, so Mr. Kuhne had to be home by midnight. Okay, is this a problem? I just looked it up this morning. Minneapolis, Minnesota, the Student Union building at the University of Minnesota is 589 miles away. Is that a problem? Why is that a problem? What if I just drove fast? I got a radar gun. I got a radar detector.
That's illegal.
Obviously, I don't care about doing things illegal if I rob Walmart. Do some math. How fast would I have to drive?
Wait, what's the time?
An hour. So 8 p.m. their time is 9 p.m. our time. Oh, okay. So, Mr. Kuhne drove 589 miles in 3 hours due to time zones. All right, what's 589 divided by 3? Just do an easy number. What's 600 divided by 3?
You have to be going like 196 miles per hour.
Okay. So Mr. Kuhne drove approximately 196 miles per hour the entire trip. No, I didn't stop for gas. I just pulled up alongside a gas semi-trailer, hung out my car, put it on autopilot, hung out the car, pulled up, filled up while I was still driving. I also never slowed down for any stoplights. I never slowed down on any on-ramps. A curve? No, I'm not slowing down. No. Stop traffic? Drive on the shoulder. My car went 196.3 repeating miles per hour the entire trip. Nissan Altima. I was not driving an Indy car. Nor was I flying in a rocket ship. Is it fair to say this is impossible?
Yeah.
This is impossible. Because
There's no way you're going.
he would have stopped for gas. Well, maybe I just drove faster then. I would have stopped for gas, sort of, my car would have flipped.
Pulled over. You would have died. You would have wrecked.
You think cop cars could have catched me? Could have caught me? No! I was going 196 miles per hour.
Okay, then you died. You definitely died.
Is it plausible? Because I'm going to go with this. This is the reason. Look at his car. My Nissan Altima might be able to hit 100. I don't think it can hit 200, okay?
I mean, it's basically a McLaren.
Yeah, we can say he would have stopped for gas, but really let's just say look at his car. Okay. So our assumption is false.
I feel like we have to do a drag test tonight.
Do you really think my car can go 200 miles per hour for 3 hours straight? For 3 hours straight? Even if it can hit 200, do you think it can go that fast for 3 hours straight? Let's go with this. Let's go with this. Can Indy cars go 200 miles per hour for 3 hours straight?
They have to always stop and get new tires.
New tires, new gas.
Yeah, no.
Okay. Is that good enough for you? If Indy cars can't do it, my car can't do it? Can they go 200 miles per hour for 3 hours
No.
straight? Okay. Therefore,
Okay, girl.
Mr. Kuhne must be innocent. QED. All right. Do you get the idea behind a proof by contradiction? It's kind of a cool way. Only in math can you prove something can never happen. Okay? This is real life, but technically maybe somebody, yeah. I suppose Mr. Kuhne maybe got some fancy new car from the future, bent the rules of time travel, came back in time, and drove it and somehow hid the engine inside his Nissan Altima. I suppose that is possible. Okay? Or maybe Mr. Kuhne has, you know, possibly.
Completely practical to Ronald Walmart.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, you went to the future, came back, and then was
Just so I could rob Walmart
like,
of Curious George's. Yes.
Walmart, that's
Yeah,
gonna be
that's
the big
obviously it.
thing.
Okay. So, but the big things are assume the opposite of what you're trying to prove, follow logical steps until you find something that just doesn't work, okay? It might contradict your given information. It might break one of our known theorems, like there's 180 degrees in a triangle, okay? State what's impossible. Say our assumption is false, therefore, and then restate what you're trying to prove, okay? That's a proof by contradiction. In some ways, they're kind of easier than the other proofs, okay?